After not seeing any new updates on Biomutant for 2 years, many players may have already forgotten about the game, but for those of who do remember, they were blessed with a treat today as the game's creative director sat down with IGN for an exclusive interview, and he brought some exclusive gameplay with him. Unfortunately, he did not bring an official release date for the game with him as well, but beggars can't be choosers, so it is nice to get some new gameplay. Here are some of the things I found interesting in the interview and in the gameplay. But first, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and share it with your friends. The open world looks pretty good to me. They showed multiple ways to travel around, such as horseback, flying, mech suits, as well as other mechanical creations. He talked about how the Biomutant team wanted to give players freedom to do whatever they wanted in the game, but then they realized over time they had given players too much freedom, and they worked on dialing it back a bit, as well as adding some guidance for players to help them out. I think that is a good thing because a lot of open world type games would just throw you out there, leaving you to figure it all out on your own, which can be a bit overwhelming for some players and turn them off from the game before they even really get into it. Even though most of the gameplay shown for Biomutant so far has been of one specific character, there is actually a character creation system where you pick from one of the 6 tribes, and then you start to mutate the DNA of your character to give it a different appearance and stats. In this game, your appearance can and will affect your stats as well. I know other games in the past have done this, such as Dragon's Dogma. I remember in that game, there will be certain areas that you had to be a certain height to reach, such as a short player could only get to, whereas a tall player probably couldn't reach it. He also states that creating characters with a high rating in one specific area could cause the other aspects of the character to be low, such as a super strong character having really low intelligence. There are also character classes as well to add on another layer of customization. One class that is mentioned is a Rambo-like class. I imagine this class is most likely based around using lots of guns for your character, as Rambo did in the movies. Weapons and gear will have rarity ratings and quality ratings, so we will all be able to get our next fix of chasing after high-level loot we have grown accustomed to doing in our loot-based games. Weapons and gear can be crafted, and some weapons and gear will require certain attributes or skills before you can use them, such as a high enough strength rating. Some higher level loot will have perks that make them feel unique. That's always good to have in a loot game, because there's no real point in grinding out the good gear if once you get it, it just feels like any other piece of gear or gun or weapon. There will be some areas in the game that require you to have certain gear to enter them, such as warmer clothing to keep you warm in cold areas, as well as masks for areas that don't have suitable air to breathe. And here it shows you facing off against some bosses. You have regular boss fights, and then you also have boss fights against World Eater bosses. I think the game director said there's 4 World Eater bosses that can be found along the roots of the tree, the giant tree roots across the world. And those fights you typically won't fight on foot one-on-one. Those are the fights you're seeing when you're in like the mech suit or in a submarine, things like that. But most likely if you're seeing your character fight the boss on foot, it's just like I guess you would call it like a regular boss. Getting a look at some of the weapons right here, some of the crafting cost forms, some of the attributes, perks, how many stars they have, of course, how many stars. The more stars they have, probably the better the weapon is. I like the little mechanical hand thing they showed there fighting. I thought that was pretty interesting. One, is it going to be like a lot of random stuff like that, or those are like one-off things? Who knows? We just have to wait for the game to come out for us to find out. I hope it's a lot of stuff like that though. More looks of the open world. Like I said, it looks pretty good to me. Looks like there's a lot of areas to explore. I give you a rundown of the different characters you're gonna come across in the story, helping you build that world immersion, make you care about what's going on. more looks at the combat. Obviously, when you're fighting these giant monsters, you're gonna have to parry and dodge. You can't just go in there swinging and shooting all over the place. It's probably gonna get you killed quick out there. You really have to take it into account of your actions as well as theirs. More environmental settings showing you different creatures drinking water out of a lake or a river. I don't know if all the animals you see will be trying to fight you. Maybe some will just mind their business and not attack you. We got a glimpse at a snowy environment. Like I said, going back to those environments that may be too hot or too cold for you to enter and survive without the proper gear. That's going to be a major thing with the game. In this section, it shows them fighting a underwater boss in a submarine. So I would take this as probably a world eater boss. Hopefully the underwater section isn't too bad. You know, a lot of games that be the worst part of the game, the underwater section. So hopefully it's not too bad. And if it is bad, hopefully it's not too much of it. I wonder if this is the only section where you actually use a submarine, or is it more to it? Or is this just like one of your regular vehicles you have access to anytime to just get around? Or is it just something particular to this boss? This world boss was previously shown in the last set of gameplay they showed, I believe. And it's you fighting them in the mech suit. Like I said, with the world bosses, you're not really gonna fight them one-on-one with just you on land like that. You're gonna use other stuff because they're just giant monsters. But these bosses here, I'm thinking you probably have a chance against on foot, one-on-one. I like how we get the comic book actions popping up, showing the sounds and things like that. I love seeing that in games. That was like one of the best filters to add to Spider-Man when you got that suit that made all the comic book sounds pop up while fighting. Definitely my favorite suit on the game. You see the world boss eating you here is kind of a spoiler, because you would have seen this the first time and been amazed. I hate they showed that, but oh well, I'm sure it's plenty of stuff they didn't show. But they could have kept that as a little secret. And I hate that it's only 4. It is said that the game takes influences from things like Kung Fu Panda, Ratchet and Clank, Devil May Cry, and the Arkham games. After watching this gameplay, I can see most of those influences at work, except for the Arkham games. I am assuming they are referring to Arkham's combat, as Biomutant is said to have a free flow combat system similar to that in a way. I also get some Breath of the Wild vibes from all the horseback sections they showed in the game. It looks like it came straight from Zelda, in my opinion. Well, all right, guys, that's all I have for you today on Biomutant. I hope you enjoyed the video. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment, share, and check back with us here at OnThaSticks for more content. Thanks.